Hello, welcome to the Digital Prosperity Podcast with me, Will Williamson and David Roberts. As usual, hello Dave.
Hello Will, and good morning to all our listeners.
Yes, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whenever you're listening to this pre-recorded podcast.
Nice one, Will.
Thank you for joining us in these potentially troubled economic times.
Yep.
We want to share with you today a 6-step formula, a 6-step system to help your business sail through whatever economic turbulence and challenges are ahead, so that you can come out of it stronger and more profitable and more successful as a business and as a business owner.
Yeah. I would like to add to that, Will, to say this is proven to work. This is not theory, yes? It's not mumbo jumbo. If anybody out there applies or might even know the 6-step system already, I'm very confident, we are very confident that whatever stormy seas are ahead, you'll get through it.
Yeah, absolutely. So
living in uncertain times, aren't we, Will?
We are. Yeah, so at the time of recording, things are looking uncertain, as you said. So there have been ups and downs. We started 2004, went through the credit crunch,
we've been through
recession of 2007, 2008. There were economic challenges around 2016, around the time of Brexit. We obviously have been through the pandemic and all the economic problems that caused. But we're in a time right now of high inflation, which doesn't look like it's going away in the near future. We've got lots of things, supply chain problems. There are trade issues. You have the war in Ukraine, energy crisis, and all of those things have led various economists to predict that we're going to be in recession in the second half of this year.
Yeah.
In the UK.
I think it's, as you were talking then, Will, I think it's fair to say, and I think there's going to be quite a few business owners listening to this podcast who've been through more than one of those downturns that you mentioned.
Absolutely.
And have come through the other side, yeah? And they would have learned a lot of things about that which they will apply to their business. And there'll be other people who are listening that haven't been through such turbulent times on more than one occasion. And I think that from a business growth perspective, because the common denominator for us and JDR is that our role through all those downturns is to be not only to steer our company into keep on growing, but to steer our clients' companies to keep on growing through these hard times. So I think that we're in a good position to talk about how you don't fear what might be ahead, but actually embrace it, because with the right advice, your right experience and the right know-how, as I said earlier, you will get through it. And we have the tools to help any company through this podcast and other tools to ensure they do that.
Yeah, I mean, is it the Warren Buffett quote that when the tide goes out, you see who's been swimming naked?
Yeah, brilliant. I haven't heard that before. That's good.
I think it's Warren Buffett.
Yeah. Doesn't matter, it's still good.
There's a lot of small businesses, small and medium-sized businesses in the UK that are quite reliant on one customer or a particular market or a particular marketing channel as a source of business. And if something happens to that customer or to that marketplace, then their business is in real trouble. So they've got all of their eggs in one basket scenario. And quite a lot of businesses get into trouble in recession because of one or two things. This is my personal view. One is because they haven't been proactive in addressing that challenge early when they haven't fixed the roof while the sun's shining.
Yeah, that view's come from experience as well.
Yeah, getting on for 20 years now.
Yeah.
And
so I think you have a relevant view.
Yeah. And then the second is when there are signs of a downturn, or you hit a downturn, or you're afraid of a downturn, cost cutting when it comes to marketing and sales, in order to try and pull the oars in and wait for the storm to pass, where actually this is the opportunity to grow and increase your market share and to do the things that other people aren't doing. The answer to coping well in a recession is just to get better at what you're doing as a business, right?
100%. Now, that I want to put a little bit of caveat there. If you've got a good marketing team and a good sales team, that's the last area of a cost cutting exercise that you should be endeavouring to do. But there's companies out there, Will, that aren't so sure if marketing produces a return on investment. Yes?
Yep.
And they're not always so sure if the salespeople are doing a good job.
Yep.
So when we go about talking about the 6-step system, within that formula, there's tools for you to assess up front how good your sales and marketing activities are.
Yeah.
So with what you just said, there's a moment in time in every business life we should take a step back and think about what you're doing. And the last thing you should do is want to unnecessarily cut back on your marketing sales. Make sure you have a good team providing that activity for you.
Yeah. It's so important to invest in growth. Otherwise, if your business is affected, it's going to cause bigger challenges than if you're able to continually win customers and pick up new business. Because if you are able to do that, you're never going to have any financial challenges as a business.
So just a couple of things that you said that is so true. One is I remember during the credit crunch crisis, listening to Sky News and other, and I'm going to name them, Sky News and other commentators, saying that there's going to be queues round the block for people queuing for job opportunities.
Right.
The world was coming to an end in a handcart. Now, I know the government stepped in and prevented a lot of that, but even over and above that, do you know what they don't take into account? The amazing capacity of the British business owner to come through those times and carry on beyond.
Yeah.
There's many small business out there who have done heroic activities in the past that nobody sees. I was at a function a couple of months ago, and a small one because it was COVID, don't forget. And I was talking to a business owner over lunch, and he was saying his commitment to his staff to get through the pandemic, how he
make sure he can still pay people's wages and keep everyone's jobs.
He felt the way he was almost in tears.
Yeah.
With the relief that they'd come out the other side.
A lot of business owners
managed to keep his staff
they'll feel the responsibility of other people's families and livelihoods on their back. Yeah.
And that's never talked about when the politicians and these doom and gloom merchants in the media, they don't talk about this enough. The responsibility
that individual, I bet the majority of their family and friends don't appreciate that or talk about that, because it's a lonely life as a business owner.
And I think because he was talking to a fellow business owner, I think he had a moment where he could,
probably express that. Yeah.
The emotion he was going through. So we know how lonely and how hard it can feel. But honestly, as a recession comes, and the likelihood it is going to come, and we're getting in early because we want people to hear it and be in advance on it. Because when the recession comes in the middle of it, and you listen to all the fear, and you listen to and all the business owners' fears, and your employees' fears, and there's fear all around, it's easy to go, oh no, we need to do X.
Yep.
But there isn't. You've got time.
Yeah. So, as we said at the start, we want to share with you a system, a process that you can implement in your business to ensure that your marketing is a success and that you attract customers, that you grow your revenue, grow your sales, and help make your business even more successful than it already is. So the path most business owners go with marketing, or a lot of businesses, anyway, most business owners do not come from a marketing background, generally.
That's true.
And
unless you've got a marketing company.
Yeah, that's right.
Bad joke.
In which case, welcome. Thanks for listening. Yes, that's right. So they get approached by various people, or they look for different ideas about how they could do marketing.
Yeah.
And because they don't know or fully understand it, often try to dip their toe in and try and do low risk strategies.
Yeah.
And it usually ends up being quite a tactical approach. Oh, I think we should run a Google Ads campaign, or someone's talking to us about Google Ads or Facebook ads, or I've seen that everyone's talking about LinkedIn at the moment and winning business on LinkedIn, or I'll try doing some email. I'll buy a database list and do some email marketing. And a lot of business owners in marketing tend to think short term.
Correct.
I want to do something and get an instant return.
Correct.
They don't usually have a way of measuring it and actually seeing how effectively something is or isn't working.
Yeah, so most business owners don't realise that sales and marketing should be a measuring exercise in order to determine success.
Yes.
And I don't blame them for that, because when they get approached quite often about getting more sales, they're not talking about the marketing activity and how they have to do it right. They're just promising them, not all the time, but quite often they're promising them more sales, but not being open and honest enough about the marketing has to be right to drive the sales leads.
Yeah. Yes, that is a problem with our industry, I think.
Not everybody will. We're not
our
telling everyone with it.
Our last pod, there are some notable exceptions. Us, I like to think, part of that. Our last episode was the most common problems with sales and marketing, where we dive into all of that in a lot more detail. So if you haven't listened to that, please go back, because there's a lot in there of the why a lot of business owners don't really see results from marketing. But it's normally because they're trying individual tactics.
Yep.
There's no real measurement.
Yep.
And there's no real clear strategy.
Yeah. But the number one, is they don't believe in it.
Yeah.
They
and as a result, don't commit to it.
Correct, because there's a lot of companies out there that have grown through just word of mouth. Yeah, and referrals, which is fantastic. Yeah. Fantastic, actually. The more I think about it, how that's done, it's incredible. But there's only with anyone that's grown a business that way, there's only so far you would go anyway with a business like that. You don't actually, you hit a ceiling. And it's normally at that time that some business owners go, right, well, maybe I should look at marketing now because nothing's changing, because it's very common that a small to medium-sized business over years more or less has the same turnover year in, year out. Yeah. And that's because they've only got one or two channels of sales.
Yeah. So there are two things two foundations to building this system.
Yeah.
Before we get into the 6 steps. So the first is, this is primarily driven, what we're talking about today is primarily driven around digital marketing.
Yeah.
But you can feed in offline marketing into the same system. So the kind of pillar of all of this, the center point is your website, and if you are going to be successful with digital marketing, you don't need to have the world's best website, but you do need to have a good website at least. You need to have something that's modern, professional, and that you can edit and change and amend and adapt as you measure the results.
Yeah, so let's be clear here, Will. 2 points. One, most business owners now are seeing their website as just a brochure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and not looking at it as enough as where they can get new customers from.
Yep.
And that's changing. More and more business owners are seeing, and I'm mainly talking about B2B. Yes, B2C. There's a great deal more marketing activity on websites on a B2C, it's a business to consumer perspective. On a business to business, we see it so often where they're not looking at their website as an absolute salesman sitting on the digital world, ready to bring clients to them or customers.
Yeah. So when we work with a client, the assessment of the website is one of the first things we do to assess whether it's fit for purpose.
And let's be honest, and if you're a web designer listening to this, close your ears right now. How many websites do we come across that are just not fit for purpose, even when a business owner has spent thousands in recent times to get what they consider to be a fabulous website that does what they want it to do.
It's because they're usually built for the wrong purpose, aren't they? They're built as a brochure rather than as a lead generation and marketing tool.
But a lot of business owners go to web designers expecting to get that.
Yes.
But they end up with a brochure.
I'm amazed when we do SEO reviews, for example, and we say, right, these are all the things that need to be done from an SEO perspective, and how many business owners go, I thought that would have been done by our website company.
Correct.
No, they just built the website.
Correct.
There's no marketing, no SEO planning, no thought about market positioning and messaging and your USP. They just built you a website.
Yeah, so over time, business owners get disillusioned and then, my website doesn't work. But there's no reason why any business in any environment, despite the competition, no matter where they are in the search engines, can't have a very successful performing website that brings in leads.
Yeah. So that's a first foundation that has to be in place. Second is that there has to be a system for measuring the marketing. Google Analytics isn't enough. Google Analytics will tell you how many people see your website and click on certain pages, and it's very good for that. But what you really need is a CRM system that will track where each and every lead comes from, who those leads are and what happens to them. If you've listened to our show for some time, you will know that our preferred platform is HubSpot, and we've got shows dedicated to going through what HubSpot is. If you go to our website, we've got a lot of information about HubSpot and how that helps. But it's a CRM system that basically, if someone makes an inquiry via your website, you can see how they came to your website, what pages they looked at, so you are able to measure the results of your marketing. So you really know not just how many clicks you're getting from a Google Ads campaign, let's say, but how many leads were generated, who those leads were, what happened to those leads, and how much they spent, and how much revenue that generated. You can see the whole picture.
So that you can make better decisions going forward.
Yeah.
But I just want to take a step back, Will, because this is a particular little bugbear of mine. So, Google provide all websites with the ability to measure for free how well their websites are doing.
Mm-hmm.
And it can be, you don't have to be, forgive me, a scientific genius and an expert at Google Analytics. There are some basic understanding that you can get from your website that business owners never look at. Mm-hmm. So my point here is, why do we think that Google provide that and always provided that so that you can make better decisions about your website?
Yeah, absolutely. And again, it's, we ask business owners as we're talking to them, right, how many people visit your website every month? And the most common answer to that question is we don't know.
Yeah, and when they do know, they get it wrong.
They have Google Analytics, just never look at it.
Yeah.
So that's quite common. So yeah, must have a system in place for actually properly being able to track, measure, and evaluate
and
which things are working and how
Google
they're working.
How important that is,
Yep.
and that's why they give you the analytics. Forgive me for talking over you.
So 6-step process. So assuming you have those foundations in place, the starting point, and this is the bit that gets missed by most business owners and most marketing companies, is strategy. Actually creating a plan. How are we going to, who are the customers we're trying to target? Who are the decision makers if it's a business to business environment? Who influences the decisions? Who do we need to speak to and attract? How are we going to do it? How are they searching in Google? What is their buying journey like? How do we then turn that into a plan for the website, for what information we need to produce, for the individual tactics we're going to provide? And that strategic planning is baked into everything that we do when we're working with a client, and it's something most business owners won't spend the time on. So they'll see, oh, everyone's doing Facebook ads or everyone's doing LinkedIn prospecting. I need to do that as well, without really thinking enough about their ideal customer persona, the message, how they sit out in the market, how they're going to approach them, how they're going to follow it up, how they're going to track it, and so on.
Yeah, we're very good in this country of having shiny object syndrome.
Yes.
Because a marketing company, oh, that's working, let me get on the phones or whatever it may be, let me send emails and say, this is what you need to do. But if you don't know your overall strategic objective for your digital marketing channels, you can't fit these things in a winning way, because all they end up being is a cost on your business, because you haven't got the right tools and systems and know-how to make them succeed.
Yeah.
So you must, everything that you've just gone through, if you haven't got that set up, you are really sort of finger in the air, hoping that any marketing tactic will work.
So if you're not clear how you should go about your strategy, if you go to jdrgroup.co.uk, we have a free template, we have a guide, we have a useful ebook you can download called How to Create a Marketing Plan, and those resources will help you in putting that together. We have a strategy checklist that you can download. So the strategy must be in place. Step number 2 is to create consistent, regular, interesting, useful content. That means articles for your website or your blog. It means videos. It means podcasts like this one, for example, so that you are regularly producing information that's useful or interesting to the customers you're trying to attract. If you have a brochure style website and you want to get more inquiries and more leads, you either have to spend a lot of money advertising if you want to grow things, or you just have to make your website a more interesting, useful resource for people that attracts people to you. And in the long run, that's the most cost-effective way of doing it, the most long-lasting way of doing it. We have a blog article that we were looking at yesterday, which we wrote nearly 10 years ago, that's attracted, in the 10 years since we wrote it, over 100,000 people to our website, just from publishing that one article. And it's still, it attracted 25,000 people to our website just last year. So everything that you invest into producing, writing articles, creating videos, producing ebooks, guides, checklists, things that are useful, they can be around for years and years and years to come.
So it's worth mentioning, Will, that article, it cost us money.
Yes.
One time.
Absolutely.
Yeah, 10 years ago. Just think of the return of investment we've got of that one article over those 10 years.
Yep.
Yeah, for one asset. And that's what, I don't know how many companies who are listening to this realise. If you produce one piece of content that attracts the right persona for your business, how cost effective that is. But also it's worth mentioning that in the first year or so, we hardly got anything from it.
Well, That's right. It's built over time, but this is not. It's also creating content on a regular basis, and this is not an easy thing to do. You have to commit quite a lot of time to it. Or we provide a done-for-you service for business owners that don't have the time to do it. But it does take investment to do. But it produces amazing results over time. But it's not just about more visits, more leads, or what have you. Also, what it does is it builds trust. It creates, it gives you authority in your marketplace. It makes you more credible as a business. So it has there are lots and lots of good reasons. There's a fantastic book by Marcus Sheridan called They Ask You Answer, which I would recommend anyone listening to this reads, which really goes into the value of committing to creating content regularly.
Yeah. I'm going to say again, the value to creating content is that it becomes an asset to your business. I like the fact that we can rely on that article this year and next year to bring prospective customers to our business.
It's an asset just as much as any machinery or any buildings or any other physical assets. It's something that...
Yeah. So that is one area why we don't fear a recession. Because we have more than one of these assets that we know is going to predictably bring in potential customers again. I'll say again to our business. That article is recession-proofing JDR.
So as you listen to this, start building assets now and investing in assets now in good content, interesting information, and you'll see the value of it.
Absolutely.
So step number 3, you've created a strategy. You're now producing regular content. That will grow your traffic and inquiries and help build your business just by itself. But there are things that can be done to really accelerate that process and convert it into leads and inquiries. And that's where doing things like the tactics we've been talking about, SEO, Google ads, Facebook ads, LinkedIn, social media, email marketing, all of those strategies, YouTube, can really accelerate things and drive more and more traffic and more visitors to your website. Step number 4 is we then have to
Before you go on step number 4, Will, I want to just take a step back to number 3. This is where your offline,
can come in.
Yes. Because your offline and your online can actually work together in this area, especially if you've got a great CRM system that you can use to utilize, where all these activities can be managed, coordinated, so that you get the very best customers that you can then present proposals to, sales presentations, whatever, because you've got this in place.
So as I say, step number 4, all those extra people coming to the website, there has to be a method to convert them. And so conversion optimization is a tried and tested process to help you get more leads from the people visiting your website. And more leads coming into your CRM system, more opportunities, more people to talk to, moves us on to step 5, which is then there has to be a process for following up those leads. And so we'll work with clients on their sales processes, on making sure they're using their CRM systems. And one of the things that where marketing can play a part there is in using automation to nurture and follow up leads and inquiries with useful, relevant information. That's where your videos and articles can really come into play as well.
So this is where I'm talking to that business owner who's listening now, who dreads the thought of considering himself as a salesperson. This is where I'm talking to that business owner who doesn't like to follow up his proposals, his quotes, his presentations, etc. He presents a price, or she, and then waits for them to come back to him.
Yep.
We know through 20 years of experience the amount of business that you lose because you're not prepared to follow up one of these activities is massive. You have to, now more than ever, know what hats that you have to take on and put off in your business. And one of those hats could be, for the relevant business owner that I'm talking to, your sales hat. So I really recommend that we understand that one of the activities as a business owner you have to play in your business is understanding how a salesperson would follow up on their proposals. But you can do it in a professional way. You can do it in a way that's not intrusive, because that's one of the biggest fears that business owners have. They're pestering.
Yeah.
Yes? But you're not pestering them.
You could be helping educate someone that is trying to make a decision, and you're providing them with good case studies, maybe explainer videos, links to places where they can go and do further research so they understand things better. You're helping them make a decision with that.
Yeah. And if you're selling or your business is a commodity, shall we say, in other words, they can get it from them and they can get it from business B and they can get it from business D. So they feel that the only thing they've got to look at is price. By following up, you can educate them on what your business does that is different to everybody else. Because one thing I do know is when you talk to business owners, they always know what the competitors do and they always know what they do better than the competitors, but they don't tell their prospects or their potential customers that. So we've got information on our site about good follow-up as well. Yeah. And I implore you to do it, because that's going to, once again, recession-proof you, put blue water between you and the competitors if and when this recession comes.
Yeah. Doing that will help you win the customers in the first place. Step number 6 is you want to, marketing doesn't stop when you win a customer. You need to stay communicating with your existing customers. So a lot of businesses that have hundreds or thousands of customers, they don't talk to them regularly.
No.
So regular newsletters via email or ways of advertising or marketing to those customers helps repeat purchases, helps word of mouth and referrals. We also work with clients on trying to turn the work that you do with the customers that you win into great case studies, examples, reviews that will actually help you win more customers at the front end as well.
Yeah. And the point I want to make to that, Will, is that actually that is a big problem with small businesses, where they've found something that works, it brings in customers, and then they get busy servicing that customer and don't have the continuity of, they drop the marketing activity so that they can focus on what they're doing. And then when that's over with, they then, where's the next customer? It's because you've neglected the marketing to service what you've already got.
Yeah.
So once again, what's going to recession-proof your business, if you fall into that category, is to find a way to resolve that problem. And automation, marketing automation, absolutely helps you solve that problem. And if you're not sure, once again, you can go to our website, okay? Or better still, give us a call and we can talk to you about it. Now, I'm not plugging JDR per se, but I am in a way, because if you want to find out how to solve these challenges for your business, well, I'm not going to be shy in saying, give us a call and we're happy to talk to you about it. You don't have to become a customer of JDR or a client, but at least you're talking to an authoritative company that will help you and give you the right answers with integrity and honesty, because we do care.
Yeah.
And of course we want to stay in business, but we do care. We care about our clients, we care about what our clients know, and we care about what the industry is saying to SMEs.
Absolutely. Absolutely well said, Dave. So in summary, we want to make sure your website is fit for purpose, have a system for measuring things, spend time creating a strategy, that's step 1, create regular content and articles. Start becoming a thought leader in your industry. Show your expertise. Step number 3, drive more traffic to the website using tactics like Facebook ads, Google ads, SEO, to make sure you get more of the right people finding and discovering you. Convert those visitors to your site into leads with conversion optimization. Then have a strategy for following up those leads. And as Dave mentioned, marketing automation can help put that on autopilot for you. Step number 6, then to work with the existing customer base so that they become a great marketing asset for you as well. And you will see your business grow and thrive, whatever is happening in the economy.
But the point is, start now. Don't start, because marketing takes time. Start now so you can get some momentum behind you, yes, and take you through the next couple of years. So on that note, Will, I'm going to say there's a part 2 coming out for this, because I think there's areas that we can dig deeper into that's going to help anyone that's interested in what we've had to say. And there's more to talk about companies surviving through a recession. So there's going to be a part 2. What do you think?
Yeah, let's do it. So look out for that in your feeds. Let us know any feedback you have on the show, and we will be with you again very soon.
Very, very soon.
Bye for now.